Hey, welcome back everybody. This is another Divi theme tutorial. My name is Alex. In this video we are going to talk about adding badges like this to menu items without a plugin, just using a little bit of CSS. It's very easy to do. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. We're going to go to our menu page. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to your menu, whichever menu you're going to be using. I like to name my primary menu, believe it or not. And then we're going to come up here to Screen Options in the upper right. And we're going to select CSS classes. You're going to make sure this is checked. And what that's going to do is when you are editing these, it's going to give you this extra option here to add a CSS class to this menu item. And so we're going to go ahead and give it a custom class, and we'll give it a class of menu badge. And then I will do, let's say, menu badge hot. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving it two classes actually, and the reason that I'm doing that is because I don't like to repeat code if I don't have to. And so this first one, menu badge, is going to be a class that styles up the badge to just kind of a default basic layout, so to speak. And then the addition of this menu badge hyphen hot, because that's the text that we're going to use in there, will then further style that. And then that way, if I want to have another one for like new or whatever, I really only have to change the styling for whatever's going to visually change on it. If the base is still going to be the same for the badge itself, because that's going to be applied by this. So it's just a way to kind of follow the dry school of thought for CSS, dry standing for do not repeat yourself. So anyway, menu badge hyphen hot. Here are the classes that we're going to use. We'll save this. Alright, so now it's saved. Let's go ahead and I'm going to open this in a new tab. And then in our original tab, we'll go into our theme options where we're going to put our CSS. And this is a good time to recommend always using a child theme, even if you're not sure you're ever going to use any custom CSS or any custom WordPress, any functions or custom hooks or filters. Because you never know when you're going to want to later. The client may come to you and say, hey, we want to add this, and the easiest way to do it is going to be to add a filter. And if you have a bunch of CSS, other places, and then you have to try to add a child theme later on, it's just extra headache. I always recommend you start with a child theme. And if you have one, here's where you would put it. Appearance, theme file editor in your CSS, here's where we would drop it all. I totally recommend that, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to drop my CSS directly into the Divi theme options custom CSS. Here. Okay, so let me inspect this element on our menu here. You'll see that the list item has our custom classes menu badge and menu badge hot. Perfect. Alright, so now let's start writing our CSS. We're going to do menu badge. And for the badges, I like to use pseudo elements. So I'm going to target the before pseudo element. Actually, I'm going to target the after. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. We'll do the after though. Alright, so as with either pseudo element, we always have to have content. And since this is our base class, I'm going to leave it blank, and then in menu badge hot, this is what I'll say, content, this is what I'll say hot. And then if we were to do one for menu badge new, we need to make sure we put our pseudo elements here as well. This is where I would say new, and so you could have as many different ones as you wanted. That way they'll all inherit the base that we're going to write, and then this will just be what overwrites it. Alright, so we'll do that. We're going to make the text white. For the background color for the base, I'll just do a basic, is that 3, 6? Yeah. And this is just a little funny thing I like to do. I like to put these in alphabetical order for the most part. When I get into like positions and some of the stuff that I need, you know, I'll put that after position. I don't know why I do it this way. It just helps me organize. If I ever have any question about, you know, what's overriding this, I have an idea of where in my rule that it is. Alright, so background color, we'll do border radius, and I'll just do like 3 pixels maybe. We'll see, maybe that'll change. Padding, maybe 3 pixels by 8 pixels. We definitely want to do position absolute. Whoops, I don't know why that added that in there. Top. I'll do minus 2 pixels. We'll see how this looks. We may have to play around with this. Right, 0. It's got a background color. We'll do font size, I don't know, 13. That might be too big. That is going to be too big. Let's just do 11 for now. And we'll give it a line height of 1 EM because we don't expect it to ever need to wrap to a second line. And I don't know if menu items, off the top of my head, I don't know if they get their position set. So I'm just going to do position relative. That way I make sure our pseudo element stays where it needs to stay. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, so now it's on top of it. That's fine. We just need to adjust where it is. So let's come back in here. Actually, another good tool to use is the browser inspector, because we can come in here, select our pseudo element here, and we can make the changes right here. So let's do, if it were to be, we want it to be a little higher. So 17, sure. Perhaps maybe a little more to the right. Let's change the font size first. Let's go to like 7, 8 pixels. And let's do text transform, uppercase. And we'll do font weight 700. We'll make it nice and bold. But it didn't apply it. Maybe the font that it's using doesn't have a font weight of that. That's okay. This is just a demo anyway. But you'll notice, even though we have our content set to nothing, it still says hot because of the here we go. This other class that is extending it, so to speak. So now we've got that, and then top 14. We'll make these changes over here. Top right, minus 14. What did I say for the right? Oh, still 0. 8 pixels. Size, font weight, 700. And then uppercase. And then for hot, we'll also change the background. We'll do background color. I'll just do red, but you know, if you had a certain shade that you wanted to use. There we go. So anyway, now you've got this in here. You can obviously play around with it. I would probably make that font size a little thicker and probably set it to a font that's got a heavier weight to it, just to make it stand out more. Let me see if I can. Why is it not letting me? Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, maybe give it a font weight that's a little bit heavier, but that's pretty much all there is to it. Let me jump back to the CSS. So again, we're setting the position relative. If I get rid of this, let me see if it doesn't have it, just to demonstrate what would happen. Okay, so they must have their position set, which is fine, so we must not need that. If its position wasn't being set, then it would go to whatever the parent container that does have it set. So if you're ever working on it and you see all, if you have multiple badges and they're all piled up in the corner here, it's because they're going based on the size of the list itself and not the list item. So you want to make sure the items have their position set to relative. But that's how you add these little badges in here to denote different things, and obviously you can do whatever you want with the CSS. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you found some value. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to be notified of future videos that I do, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.